you so much, Dave. It's always such a pleasure to have you with us. And Reverend Sherrie, welcome back. We haven't had you with us in a long time. So grateful you're here this morning as well. So I'm Cheryl Welsh-Charrier, obviously, and your platform assistant today. Our centering prayer today is actually from this past Thursday's daily word. And the daily word was awaken. So please join me in prayer. I awaken to myself as a spiritual being, part of all that God is, so much more than my human self. I grow in understanding that God is not just with me, God is within me. I awaken to the creative power of my thinking and how my thoughts create my life. I awaken to know God as the light in my life and the love in my heart. I awaken to wisdom. Amen.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be with everyone today. I want to just say thanks for Cheryl, who is facilitating our service today. You're wonderful as always. And it's such a pleasure to hear Dave. Dave, fabulous music, sir. Thank you so much. Well, let's see. It's been a while. You know, I heard this story that once there was a young man who was searching for the secret of wisdom. And he heard that there was a guru high up in the Himalayas who knew the answer. So he set off to find the guru. He experienced much hardship as he traveled. He climbed mountains, he went through jungles, he crossed rivers. And finally, as he climbed the mountain, the highest mountain, he found the master, sitting in a lotus position. "Tell me, O master," he cried, "what is the secret of wisdom?" The master replied, "Good judgment." "But how do you get good judgment?" asked the young man. The master replied, "Experience." "And how do you get experience?" the young man persisted. "Ah," said the master, "bad judgment." The title of my talk today is Chronological Wisdom. Webster's dictionary defines wisdom as ability to discern inner qualities and relationships, meaning insight, good sense, judgment, generally accepted belief, accumulation of philosophical or scientific learning, knowledge, wise attitude, belief, or course of action. And lastly, the teachings of an ancient wise man. In her book, Lessons in Truth, Emily Cady wrote, "God is in everything that happens to you. There are no second causes. There are no other excuses, options, or blame. God is all there is." Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, he wrote, "Should all the wisdom of the universe be poured over us, we should yet receive only that which we are ready to understand." I venture to say that many of us periodically stop to take a look and reevaluate our lives. We ask questions like, have I been a kind person? Have I set goals in my life? Have I achieved any of those goals? Have I helped others? Have I made any money? Have I learned anything? Have I done stupid things and judge myself harshly for it? Like the guru said, there must be some bad judgment or inexperience to help us experience good judgment. So we have times when we do things that we might classify as stupid. So as I was putting my thoughts together about this idea of chronological wisdom, I started thinking of stupid things I've done during my life. And one of the dumbest things I could think of was I was living in New York City and I was working in New York City and I'd had a weekend break. And so I flew down here to DC to visit my family. And so late Sunday night, I just had to fly back to New York because I'd be at work on Monday morning. And so I get into the city, and I'm walking through the airport, LaGuardia Airport. And all of a sudden I hear some guy say, "Hey, anybody need a ride into the city?" And I jumped up and raised my hand and said, "Oh yeah, I need a ride. That'd be great." So he says, "Okay, come on." So I follow this guy out. We jump in what appears to be his personal vehicle, and we took off. And so we're driving through the streets, and all of a sudden I realized, it just dawned on me, I'm in a strange car with a strange person I've never seen before, and I have no idea who this guy is. So there was a moment of panic. And in my brain, the first thing I thought was, how dumb are you? So I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I just thought, well, the only thing I can do is pray. So I started doing that. And then I decided I was going to call somebody and tell them I'm in the car on my way to the city, trying to think of some way to satisfy myself just because I had done something so stupid. Well, everything was okay. The guy got me back to my apartment. Everything was all right. I got out of the car. But I thought, girlfriend, that wasn't smart. We have to be a little wiser than that next time. So there are times when we find ourselves doing things that we just knee-jerk responses and entertained no wisdom. I also used to classify these actions as behaviors coming from somebody who was young and stupid and doesn't know any better. Well, I suppose back then I might have classified myself in that category. I used to say to myself, well, when I get older, I'll become wiser. Being young and not knowing any better worked for me for a long time. Then one day I woke up, and now that I've gotten older, I ask myself, am I wise yet? Charles Fillmore, he wrote and spoke often about wisdom as a faculty of the mind connected to spiritual understanding. He emphasized that wisdom involved discerning truth from illusion, recognizing the divine potential within oneself, and living in accordance with that truth. We do not have to wait until we get old to experience wisdom. Chronological wisdom means that we can experience wisdom of spirit, at all times, at any age, to the depth of our ability to understand. Wisdom begins in wonder. And we know that children are the most innocent representation of that. Now, I don't have children other than my four-legged ones. And so when I'm around children of friends, I listen. And it's interesting to me to watch other people's kids operate. I see children living in the purest form of wisdom. They're curious, and they appreciate everything that's around them. When they're able to talk, they question, they touch things, they sing, they dance. All of this done in the freedom of spirit. And most of all, they tell it like it is. You want to get some truth, go ask a kid. They will tell you exactly what they see. They will repeat exactly what they've heard. So sometimes parents have to listen up, because there will be things coming out of their kids' mouths that the parents don't even know the kids know. So listen up to the kids. But it's that level of childhood freedom as the beginning of this understanding of living in the wisdom of spirit. Children gain awareness and gain awareness and wisdom when parents and caregivers begin to give these children the opportunity for choice. It begins with the little things. I had a friend whose daughter loved to run around the house barefoot. And she was about 3 years old, and that was her favorite thing, running around, no shoes on. Well, when time comes to go out, for she and her mom to go out running errands, she always wants the daughter to have a pair of shoes on. So she decided that she would begin to give her daughter choices. Rather than allowing an argument to ensue about the shoes, she quietly told her daughter that they were going out and that she needed to put on some shoes. And she gave the baby a choice. She said, which shoe do you want to put on first? The left one or the right one? Or if you don't want to wear shoes and go out with me, you can stay home with no shoes and be with dad. So the child got to choose what she wanted to do with no argument being developed or created. And the child then begins the opportunity of learning that we have choices. Which is the best choice for me? So Spirit lives within us and is at our disposal to help us create a life that we would love to live. We know that when we have a deep desire for something, deep focus and desire for something to demonstrate in our lives, and we hold on to that idea in our hearts, Spirit conspires to bring the desire to fruition. We don't always know our desires will manifest. We don't know how these desires will manifest, I should say. Your heart holds your desires, and the universe holds your heart. So you heard me speak earlier this morning of being young and not knowing any better. This could also be a prime wisdom at work in our lives. When we have a desire that we want to manifest, the universe only knows how to say yes. It doesn't question you. It doesn't ask you if you're doing the right thing. It doesn't ask you if you're sure this is what you want. All the universe knows how to do in response to our desires is to say yes. Even though we human beings think that we can multitask, in reality, our life journey is taken one step at a time. We move through life one step at a time. We move through the fog where we could only see as far as the next step in front of us. I don't know if any of you have ever lived in California and have ever experienced Thule fog. Thule fog is this weather condition that happens in California when the humidity builds up and it's warm on the ground, and then all of a sudden cold air comes in over top of the warm air and traps the moist, warm air in close to the ground. And a thick fog develops. Now, this fog is nothing like you've ever seen before, unless you've been watching some science fiction movie. This fog is so thick, you can stick your arm out and you're not able to see your hand at the end of your own arm. I had friends of mine who used to tell me when they were stuck in the Thule fog that they would have to open the car door and look on the ground to see if they could see where the stripe was on the street to be sure their car was in the right lane. That's how bad this fog was. So we have the opportunity to surrender and allow Spirit to make the next step clear to us. You've heard me tell the story of my desires to have a career in the entertainment business and how was this little girl from Virginia going to ever find her way to California and into show business? I don't know. But I had to work through that Thule fog. I had to rely on that wisdom of spirit. I had to follow the breadcrumbs of the job offers and of other help from acquaintances. After college graduation, I said yes to a job in Ohio. I met someone from California at a conference who offered me a job in San Francisco. I said yes. I was offered a place to stay in Los Angeles while I looked for a job and an apartment, and I said yes. I was offered a job at a CPA firm that was the company that took care of Norman Lear's all of the company's tax audits. And I said yes. My boss at the CPA firm knew I wanted to work in television. He got me an interview with the HR person in Norman's company. I said yes. The HR director at Norman's company offered me a job in the company right there working for her. I said yes. I had to call on all belief in the wisdom of spirit that I was being guided to the highest and best as I continued to say yes. Now, of course, back then I was young and I had this dream that I wanted. And I didn't, quote unquote, think of all the possible reasons why this could not happen. All I thought about was, where's the next step? And universe, show me how to get there. There was no way I could have ever imagined that path to my dream. Faith in the power and perfection of God, that is all there is. Who knows all things? God is all things. God provides for all things. And his infinite wisdom guides us through the Thule fog. We have opportunity to learn how not to make the same mistake twice. Each time we rise another level in our understanding of our relationship with spirit, we gain wisdom. Emily Cady said, desire is God tapping the door of your mind, trying to give you greater good. When we surrender our worry and our belief that we've got to figure out every fine nuance of our lives, we leave room for the wisdom of spirit to whisper in its still small voice what our next move is. Unity author Reverend Bronte Colbert wrote, "The power of wisdom is always available to you, even when you feel disconnected." There are times when things happen that we just don't see coming. Events or situations that throw up a roadblock to our forward motion. We get denied a job. After a lot of work on a project, we're not chosen for the project. We get frustrated or angry because it appears that we've been stopped dead in our tracks. And we know right now, even as things are unfolding in our country, there are times when we feel that we're not being heard. There are times when we see behavior taking place that we know is not for the highest and best of all human life. How many times have we heard the stories of how things aren't turning out the way we think they should, and that being the best decision that could have ever happened to us? How many times have we heard stories from people who are angry because they missed their airplane flight, only to discover that the flight got canceled after everybody was on board, or that the flight was diverted because of bad weather? How relieved and grateful do we feel not to have boarded that plane? This was the wisdom of the universe, whispering in our ear. There are no mistakes in this universe, only opportunities for lessons in wisdom. Because wisdom is always available to us, we have a choice as to whether or not we cultivate it. Repeating the same behavior and expecting a different result is not cultivating wisdom. It's basically the definition of insanity. It's up to us to create a deeper walk with Spirit. It's up to us to be willing to surrender our lessons in spirit, to surrender to lessons in spiritual wisdom. Reverend Bronte Colbert also wrote, "Know what you are is wonderful. Within you are the resources, powers, capabilities, wisdom, and more to live a vibrant life, to handle any circumstance, and to shine. You make beautiful difference in this world." Reverend Bronte has a practice that she shared to help us call forth our wisdom. When things around us feel overwhelming, when we feel out of sync with that wisdom, here are some ways that she suggested we can remember its presence within us. Create time for prayer, meditation, to restore a feeling of alignment. Practice mindfulness. Be in the moment. Breathe in the knowing that all is truly well in your life. Intentionally call on the facility of wisdom, which is part of your divine nature. Know that you are wise and powerful. Ask for guidance and be open to nudges. Reflect on your accomplishments, your achievements, small and large. Practice self-appreciation and step away from self-judgment. Love yourself some more every day. In his book, Principles of Successful Living, Ernest Holmes wrote, "The way to work is to begin right where you are, and through constantly applying ourselves to the truth, we gradually increase in wisdom and understanding. For in this way alone will God result be obtained." So we are always living in chronological wisdom every single day of our lives. The only time that we're not moving forward or open to learning or open to the guidance of wisdom is when we decide we don't want to be. I've met many people who say, well, you know what? I'm set in my ways. And it's just the way it's going to be. I'm not getting any younger, and I have just decided this is where I'm going to be, and I'm not making any changes. I'm too old. Well, you know, the universe only knows how to say yes. So it's that. Be careful what you ask for. But do understand that that wisdom is with us through our entire life experience. It is just our opportunity to know and learn how to call upon it. As I always remind so in closing, as I always remind myself, trust in God and tie up your camel. With God, all things are possible. And so it is. Amen. Join me now as we take a deep breath and we relax into our chairs. Take another deep breath and relax our bodies even more, giving our chairs permission to hold our weight. As we continue to breathe, we give permission for all the little muscles in our fingers and toes, in our ankles, in our legs, in our knees, in our hips, in our wrists, our arms, our elbows, our shoulders, our neck, our back. We breathe in God energy and we relax into the truth that there is only one power, one presence, one source from whence all things come. We are one with that source. And as we continue to breathe, we feel at the core of our being a warmth, a gentle warmth. That warmth moves up through our torso, out through our shoulders, down to our fingers. That warmth moves down into our hips and our knees, our legs and our toes. That warmth moves up through our neck, into our heads and out the top, the crown of our head. Our entire body is engulfed in the warmth of God. That healing power that revitalizes every single cell within our being. And as we continue to breathe, we feel our oneness with Spirit. We feel the perfection of God within us, outpicturing as us. We allow the peace that is flowing over us to be the power that we live by each and every day. We live in and with and demonstrate as God's peace. We have in our hearts that knowing of healing and oneness on this earth. We have in our hearts that same healing and oneness and knowledge for the earth itself. The earth is a body of God, just as we are that which God is. And as we continue to breathe, we allow ourselves to feel that strength of spirit, knowing full well that the wisdom of the universe is ever guiding, directing, inspiring, prospering, and blessing us in absolutely everything we choose to do. We are divine, individualized expressions of spirit, and each of us has something to contribute to this world. And it is our opportunity to discover more and more of our ability to discover a deeper and deeper walk with Spirit, having faith and trust in our perfection, in what we're here to do, in our relationships with one another, and in our belief and participation in peace. So in these next few moments of silence, we feel our oneness with all that is. Thank you, dear Spirit. Thank you for my life. I am breathing in now and allowing my fingers and my toes to return to this present moment. I am refreshed. I am filled with that divine light of Spirit. I am in great gratitude for all that I am, for all that I have, and for all that I'm here to give, and for all the blessings that I am receiving. I continue to breathe and feel the strength of the universe. It supports me as I walk, as I make decisions, as I help others, as I guide myself. I am the power of Spirit. So thank you. Thank you for this day and every day, for all that I am, for all that I have. And I release these words now into the divine law of God, knowing they are already done and complete in that mind of God by means of me. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
This closing prayer is actually from a Silent Unity pamphlet. The page that it's from is called Divine Order in All Things. The section that I've chosen goes this way. Fully present to all that is, I am comforted by the unseen order that is ever unfolding. Heeding my inner wisdom, I adjust and evolve gracefully. If I should stumble, I regain my confidence and continue forward with sure but light steps. I am balanced. My heart is open, and the certainty of divine order brings me peace. And so it is. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And Jan has indulged me by putting up the long version of the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. The mind of God guides us. The life of God flows through us. The laws of God direct us. The power of God abides within us. The joy of God uplifts us. The strength of God renews us. The beauty of God inspires us. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And that's the truth.